Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Aretha. Today I want to talk about the idea of reinventing ourselves once we have encountered some kind of upper limit in life. For the past several years, I have felt that my next steps were outlined for me. I knew exactly what I needed to do and I was clear on where I was headed. I think a lot of us, when we become young adults, have clear expectations of how we think life will turn out. Sometimes we have a clear career path in mind because of something our parents taught us or something we learned along the way. Or we know really clearly that we want to build a family or we want to travel. It may not be the case for everyone, but a lot of people have an idea of how they think being an adult will play out. As a first generation immigrant, my path was clear. My dream was concrete. I spent the last 2 decades assimilating to the United States and building my life here. I went to college, then I went to grad school, then I landed the job that was using my degree, then I got married and I had a child and we bought a house and we did all the things, all the milestones that I associated with adulthood. By all external accounts, I have built a really good life. But at the end of last year, I realized that I had reached my upper limit. And by that I mean that I had never dreamt past this point. It was time to set my goals for the new year. And I came up blank. I took stock of what I had, and it was everything I always wanted to have. This was as far as the little girl in me could dream. And now I wasn't sure what the new dream needed to look like. So what now? What happens once you get the one thing that you're hinging your happiness on? Oh, when I get the perfect job, I'll be happy. When I finally buy a house, I'll be happy. When I finally get married, I'll be happy. We keep saying that, but we don't think past that point. What happens when those things do happen to you? Do you stop wanting anything? Do you stop growing? As children, I think we develop a sense of what amount of success is available to us. We inadvertently set an upper limit on what we think success can look like. It's usually in reaction to what we saw in our environment when we grew up. So if our parents had limited financial means, then maybe our goal was to have a better financial life. And we had a limited idea of what that would be. If we grew up in a dysfunctional environment, maybe our goal was to build a better family for our kids. Either way, when we first enter adulthood, our big dreams, our biggest, wildest dreams, are based on what we thought was possible as kids, what we saw around us, what we reacted to, what we decided to take with us moving forward, and what we decided would stop with us. There is no way that the little kid in you can envision all the possibilities that are available in the world. Everything was filtered through their reality at that time. So what happens when you finally achieve your childhood dream? Maybe you always wanted to start a family, and now you've done that. Or maybe you always wanted to build a career, and now you're in your career. Do you feel fulfilled? What happened to me was that I checked off all the things on paper that I thought I needed to do to become an adult, to be a full-grown person running my own life. And now that I had done all of it, I wasn't quite sure what the next steps were. So maybe you can relate to this. You look around at your life and all the things you've accomplished, and you can see that you've achieved the majority of the dreams that you had as a child. By your own standards, you have made it in life. So what now? You still have decades of life in front of you, but you've never thought about what would happen past this point. This is where the process of reinvention comes into play. And it's an exciting process, but it can also feel slightly painful. It feels like the end of an era. My first suggestion is to make peace with your past dream and with the child that you're leaving behind. See, the child that you used to be had a limited understanding of the world. That child in you dreamt as far as she or he could imagine. If you have hit an upper limit now, it means that you have made them proud. You have achieved the dream that they had set for you. This is your chance to revisit this child you used to be and thank your past self for guiding you this far. This may sound corny, but you have to basically give yourself permission to let go of this old dream because it's been fulfilled and allow yourself to replace it with a new, bigger dream. This can feel slightly uncomfortable. It is hard to let go of a dream that you've nurtured for so long. You are not betraying the old version of you. You are building even more things on the solid foundation that that version gave you. So once you've made peace with your past self and your past dream, the next step is to take yourself outside of your current box. In order to get this far, you had to put your blinders on. You inadvertently blocked out certain things that you decided were outside of the scope of what you were trying to do. Now is your chance to revisit those things. So ask yourself some questions that help you think outside of your current limitations. Who could you be right now if you were not afraid of rejection? What would you pursue if you were not worried about what other people thought about you? What would you do if time and money were no object? What legacy do you want to build? How can you make the world a better place? What does happiness look like for you? Take your time with these questions. Allow yourself to think bigger than what you had considered before. Maybe there were some wild ideas that you squashed along the way because you just didn't have the bandwidth for them in the past. Maybe there are some things deep inside that you really are intrigued by or interested in, but have not allowed yourself to explore so far. What would it look like if you did? What if you investigated some of the wild ideas that tend to pop into your head randomly? That takes me to the next point. Revisit your inspiration. On your way to where you are today, you probably came across a lot of people who inspired you for various reasons. Maybe you don't even know why they inspired you. For some reason, you gravitated towards them and they interested you. Now is your chance to revisit those people and figure out what specifically about them attracted you in the first place. What is it about them that makes them feel special to you? Think about the lifestyles that you think are fascinating. What would happen if you tried them on for a little bit? If you could have a personal conversation with the people you admire the most, how can they help you reinvent yourself and figure out what your new next steps should be? The process of thinking outside the box and revisiting your inspiration can take weeks. It can take days. It can take as long as it needs to take. What you're doing is expanding the realm of possibilities that you had previously limited for yourself. Those ideas will need some time to marinate. And the process of sorting through the new influx of ideas can be a little bit messy. So the next step is to embrace the messy middle, where all these new possibilities are swirling around in your head and you're trying to decide which path to focus on. While this process of embracing and exploring new possibilities can feel a little bit chaotic, it should also feel very exhilarating. Knowing that there's a bigger world for you than you had previously imagined can feel pretty powerful. This is a good time to get really introspective and reflective. Give yourself some space to spend some time alone with your thoughts. See where they're guiding you. Trust that your mind and your body will work on answering the questions that you're asking yourself. Stay open, give yourself some space to hear the answers as they come up. Once you have some concrete ideas of what your new dreams could be, make a decision. Decide what you want to pursue next, what adventures you want to go on. Pick the option that makes you feel the most excited and try it for a while. The key is to act on those new ideas and try them out. Start experimenting. Remember that you can try something new and pivot at any time. You owe it to yourself to at least try it. The idea is that there are so many things we can try. There are so many things that could be a good fit for you. But if you stick to a really old version of what you think your life would be, you are eliminating a lot of options that could very well work out for you. So every time that you feel like you've achieved your milestones and now you're in the state of thinking, what's next? Is that all there is? What else could I do? This is your impetus to go and find a new dream, try it on. And once you get there, if you decide that's not for you, you get to reinvent yourself again. Life is full of possibilities and opportunities. Our ability to dream can be limited by what we know is possible. So as we go through life, there will be more things we learn along the way that expand our understanding, but we need to give ourselves a chance. We have to remain open to the idea that our dreams can be expanded over time. Choosing to pivot and dream bigger doesn't mean that we are betraying an older version of ourselves. I invite you to think bigger than what you thought was possible before. Are the dreams you are currently working on based on your old understanding of the world? As you grow in the world and experience new things, are you expanding your vision based on all the new possibilities? What would taking your life to the next level look like?